What was the first beer you drank?
I've got a feeling the first beer I ever drank was a stout, actually, and I think it was Mackerson mixed with Vimto. Yeah, to make it easier to drink, because I was probably only about 12.
So right in at the deep end.
And I think I was being initiated by my brother, so that's what we used to drink, was Mackie Vimto, and we thought we were very grown up, even though we were only 12 or 13 or something.
Was it good?
It was, you couldn't call it amazing. Probably more of a girl drink. I think I saw someone's grandmother drinking it and thought that sounded good, because Vimto's nice, Mackerson's not too bad. I don't know if you can get it anymore anyway. And the two together was like a creamy fruit drink.
And how about the first beer you ordered in a pub?
First beer I ordered in a pub, I think, was a pint of Bass. Being brought up in Stafford, so it was either going to be, I remember seeing Bass and Pedigree on the bar, so it was one of those two, yeah. And but don't forget as well, I was brought up during the keg revolution of Double Diamond and Harp and all of that sort of
Red
stuff.
Barrel and that kind of
So Red Barrel.
Yeah.
So I dare say one of those crept into the fore at some point. But I do remember hand-pulled Bass was one of my first pints ever, yeah.
What was the first beer you ever drank?
The first beer I ever drank, John, was a pint of Tetley's, actually in the old tradition on Coldbath Road in Harrogate. When I was about 15 years old. Am I allowed to say that? No, I was 18 really.
Yeah. And what's your favourite beer now?
Morrissey Fox Blonde.
Right, you're on Desert Island, there's no Morrissey Fox Blonde. What are you going to go for?
I think, because I think part of our inspiration for Morrissey Fox Blonde was what the guys are doing at Rooster.
Right.
So if I had to go on a desert island, I could only take one beer and it wasn't my own, it would probably be Rooster's YPA. I think it's a superb beer.
Right. And what's your favourite beer and food match?
Favourite beer and food match? I like anything that's caramelised, like if you've got a good steak that you've done on a char grill, barbecued food in particular, goes really well with real ale. Yeah. It goes really well, because the caramelisation and the sugars and then the bitterness, it all really mixes really well. And also, just as an extra one in case, the Creek, which is a cherry beer, macerated cherries, it's not cherry flavoured beer, it's made with cherries, it's really brilliant with chocolate pudding.
Right. If you found yourself stranded in an isolated part of the world where you couldn't get Morrissey Fox beer, what would you go for?
I would go for a Roosters YPA, or actually any Roosters beer.
Okay.
It was our inspiration.
And what's your favourite beer and food match?
Oh, now, my favourite beer and food match. Well, it kind of depends. Dessert-wise, it's probably something like a chocolate fondant and a Creek, a lambic Creek from Belgium. On the savoury side, God, mussels and wheat beer. Bit of an obvious one, but it is a classic. Okay. Actually, no. Do you know what? Malaysian laksa and a Belgian wheat beer.
Okay. Well, how about with, say, steak and ale pie, which is the bestseller in the pub trade? What would you serve with?
Steak and ale pie, a great quality English bitter. Nice, firm, hoppy bitterness, nice fruitiness, loads of contrasting and comparing of flavours going on. Absolute winner.
What one thing do you think the beer industry could do to improve itself?
Blimey, that's very difficult. What one thing could the beer industry do? I think the beer industry is constantly trying to improve itself, and I don't think there's any one particular thing. If we could read the minds of the general public in total in the UK, that would probably help, because it's just trying to keep up with the tastes that people want. Because when you're dealing with a sensory product, you're dealing with what turns people on or turns people off. So if we could find out that's what we need to find out. Yeah, what turns people on.
Great. And what one thing could the pub industry do to improve its fortunes?
I think that the pub industry needs to embrace food of a certain quality, and I don't mean that you've got to go fine dining. I mean that if you're going to do a ham sandwich, make it a great ham sandwich. Maybe start baking your own bread, carving the ham off the bone, that sort of thing. But I think now you've got to set yourself apart from the competition. You've got to become a destination place, because only 10% of a village will ever visit its local pub anyway. Just up the ante.
Sorry, I should ask you the other question. What do you think the beer industry can do to improve its fortunes?
I think for the beer industry to improve its fortunes, it has got to start to appeal to people that currently don't drink beer. I think, it needs to start embracing glassware. It needs to start embracing, you know, artisan flavours. Just really focusing on bringing in a new market, women and young people.